In the finals for the men's middleweight division, about 75 kilograms or about 165 pounds, Arlen Lopez of Cuba takes home a gold medal with a good clear-cut decision win over Bektemir Melikuziev of Uzbekistan, who takes home a silver. Just a solid fight from Lopez. He won the first round clearly. I thought Melikuziev started to adjust things a little bit more in the second round, throw a little bit more punches and combinations, where Lopez was able to kind of beat him in a fencing type of one shot for one shot game. Started off throwing combinations in the second round, but Lopez once again adjusted, and he's a powerful guy. His very first fight he won by a clear knockout, which showed his power early, and from that point on, you could tell that he had some serious strength and leverage on every shot that he threw. He managed to keep Melikuziev at bay. The third round, Melikuziev still came forward trying to, change everything up, trying to do whatever he could to win, but it was not to be for him. Arlen Lopez takes home a unanimous decision, clear-cut decision over Melikuziev in the finals, and a really good performance, a solid performance for one of the more solid performers overall of the Olympics in terms of who he defeated on his way to getting there. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, he defeated Zoltan Adam Harksa of Hungary by TKO, brutal TKO. If I remember right, it was in the second round, just a clean left cross up against a square. Harksa, that just dropped him on his behind and had him weary and not ready to continue at all. The ref waved it off. That fought Christian Mbili of France, who gave him a little bit of a slightly tougher time, but in spite of that, Lopez was still able to shine through with his skills and ability. Next round, he defeated Kamran Shakuzvarli of Azerbaijan, another clear-cut, unanimous decision. Shakuzvarli did what he could in order to try to make it a more competitive fight, but Lopez was just a little bit too strong, a little bit too powerful, and a little bit too skilled overall for Shakuzvarli. Bektemir and Shakuzvarli, of course, took home the bronze back to Azerbaijan. Bektemir Melikuziev, on his way to getting to Arlen Lopez, defeated, let me go back to his first fights, Mingang Zhao of China with a unanimous decision, a good, clear victory over Mingang Zhao, in spite of the fact that I thought Mingang Zhao actually did a pretty good job in that fight early on. Defeated Artem Chebotarev of Russia by a split decision. Chebotarev gave him a little bit of trouble, especially early, but Melikuziev was able to adjust and defeat him. Fought Krishan Vikas of India, a little bit of a slightly notorious name for some of you, being that he was the man who initially defeated Errol Spence back in 2012 Olympics, wound up getting the decision overturned, and then of course wound up defeating Charles Conwell a bit controversially in these Olympics in the very first round. But there was no controversy to be for Melikuziev, who managed to defeat him by a clear unanimous decision and go on into the semifinals, where he met Misael Rodriguez of Mexico. In what was really a gritty fight. Rodriguez had been a consistent fighter in terms of making every fight more like a pro-style fight than an amateur-style fight. Got in inside and in close, up close, and threw punches and bunches and managed to do a lot of damage to pretty much everybody he fought. Melikuziev was able to keep him at bay at first. In the second round, Rodriguez started to get to Melikuziev a little bit, though. And in the third round, Rodriguez really started to get to Melikuziev, but by then it was a bit too late. Melikuziev had managed to get a nice foothold and a nice lead in the scorecards, and he defeated Rodriguez by unanimous decision on his way, of course, to meeting Arlen Lopez in the finals, where unfortunately he took a loss, taking home a silver back to Uzbekistan. I think several of these guys could be pretty solid pros. Not quite as much of a pro style from most of the middleweights as I've seen from the other weight divisions, from the lightweights, from the bantamweights, the light flyweights, and the flyweights, for instance. But there's still a few solid fighters to be had in terms of guys that I could see adjusting to a pro style fight. I think Arlen Lopez could definitely adjust to a pro style fight. A very hard power puncher with a lot of skill as well. Melikuziev, somewhat. But I do have certain questions about the potential for stamina issues with as high a little bit of a jittery style, a little bit of a high energy style as he has in terms of moving around. Like, it seems like he has a little bit too much wasted movement, but you never know. His stamina may truly be on point in order to go a full 12, for instance. Misael Rodriguez of Mexico, I think, is very much built for the pros. He's a guy that, it's tough to imagine him really getting as far as he did under the old style of scoring in the amateur boxing system in terms of the Olympics or the World Championships. So I mean, I think he would definitely be a solid pro, a gritty inside fighter, a guy that's able to cut off the ring, close distance very quickly, and throws in pretty incredible combinations, including the vaunted left hook to the liver, left hook and to the liver, and left hook to the chin. That vaunted old style Chavez style of combination, as well as Janibek Alimkhanuli of Kazakhstan, who actually wound up losing to Cameron Shakusvarli, I think could be a pretty solid pro. And let's see, there was one other guy, Christian Mbili of France, I think would be a solid pro as well. And he had a pretty solid style, a guy that I thought started a bit too slow though, especially against Arlen Lopez, and it wound up costing him in the end. But he's a guy that I could definitely see adjusting pretty well. But I think that's going to do it for my coverage of the men's middleweight division, 75 kilograms. Just a quick rundown once more. Cameron Shakusvarli of Azerbaijan takes home a bronze. Misael Rodriguez of Mexico takes home a bronze. Bektemir Melikuziev of Uzbekistan takes home a silver. And Arlen Lopez of Cuba takes home a gold, making it 3 total for the Cuban boxing squad. You know, not doing quite as well as they have in some of the past Olympics, but still doing a very solid job, in spite of the fact that the scoring system has changed drastically compared to the way that they train their fighters, you know, from childhood essentially. But just a solid job from Lopez, and a solid job from all of the fighters in the middleweight division overall. It was definitely a fun one. These entire Olympics have been excellent one to watch, and tomorrow will be, of course, the final day of Olympic boxing, which will include the women's middleweight gold medal match, the men's flyweight gold medal match, the men's light welterweight gold medal match, and the men's super heavyweight gold medal match. So 4 gold medal matches tomorrow. It's going to be a solid morning, solid day, solid evening for wherever you guys are at of boxing. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. It's kind of a sad thing to see that the Olympics have come and gone so fast, but it's definitely very exciting and very interesting to be able to see the progression of all these fighters going from amateur top contenders to being in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and becoming medalists, bronze, silver, and gold, especially. Just awesome to watch, and awesome to see a lot of people basically be on the cusp, on the precipice of doing some pretty solid things in the professional ranks as well. So that's going to do it for me today for the Olympic boxing coverage, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.